fuck is McClay?
Studio audience. I'm taking this out. Okay. Studio audience back there. All yeah.
That'd be funny, actually.
The studio audience is here, but they can't see it.
You look like a asshole producer with the scarf and everything.
Asshole motherfucker.
In the notebook.
In the notebook.
With my phone resting on it, watching.
Yeah, all your notes.
Yeah.
What kind of notes you giving me? It's a podcast, motherfucker.
Are you gonna edit in a laugh track and shit?
Yeah, now I am. If the stuff isn't funny, if I tell a bad joke.
People all crack it up.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm happy
All
with
right,
that.
you guys ready? You guys ready?
Are we?
Yeah,
Okay,
make
okay.
sure just
Oh,
you're
you already
happy
rolling?
with that loud.
Yep.
Okay,
rating.
hang on.
So I'm gonna hit record here.
Okay, hang on a second. Okay, sound rolling. I just need you to look into that camera in a second, and then hang on.
So we're on that one, and
What?
then
We're rolling?
Is swearing okay?
The Bogcast, episode 1. Camera 1.
The Bogcast, episode 2. Camera
That's still
2.
episode 1.
Oh, camera 2. Whatever. Sorry, I've been drinking.
It's all good.
Action.
All right, this is the Bogcast. I'm Keith Obit, your host. One thing I want to get out of the way really quick that everyone asks me constantly is, what is the Bogcast about? Well, honestly, I have no idea. I'm going to probably figure out over time, maybe 100 episodes deep. But what I do know is I get to hang out with my co-host and best friend of 25 years, Brian McClay. That's the thing I'm really excited about.
Hola, muchachos.
Yeah,
Wait,
well,
I thought I was.
Bueno.
he's on 2 other podcasts. You want to see the other 2 podcasts around real quick?
Flip Side, Tales from the Flip Side, and Absolute Geek. So check it out.
Nice. And then my other best friend helping out on audio and second cam stuff, Jason Oompa Pavone.
Yes, sir. Hey guys.
How you
Yeah, I
doing
know
today?
all these guys for a long time, so it's really cool to be a part of this.
And I just got to say extra thanks to my homies, Andrew and Chad, for fucking doing the killer lighting and the cameras. They directed Late Fees, killed it on that. So I'm lucky to have them in the house. But what I'm really excited to have in the house is my guest for today, the very first guest of the Bogcast, and there's actually a reason for that. Rich Fourmy from Pelvic Meatloaf. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing swell. How
I'm
are you?
really, really fucking seriously, dude, thankful that you're doing this, man. Like, that really means a lot. Like, I've been planning this for a long time. And the reason why that I want to get into is why I want you on as the first episode is because you nicknamed me Bog, and it's called the Bogcast. And what I want to know is, do you remember naming me Bog?
I
Do you
do.
remember why you named me Bog?
I do.
And where did you first hear the word bog, or did you make it up, and how did you correlate it with what you meant the word bog was? But in the meantime, while he's answering these questions, all you motherfuckers, I don't give a fuck what you say, are doing a fucking celebratory fucking Jameson shot.
Ooh.
You too, Chad.
I'm
Andrew.
in. I'm in. I don't
You know
like,
what?
I don't like drinking all that much, though.
I don't give a fuck.
I'm not really into drinking, though.
Shit. So what's up with this bog shit, man? Where'd you come up with all that?
Well, I'll tell you. I don't know if you even know this, actually. So,
Even better.
back
Even better.
way back, the time was 1990.
Damn.
Anyway, me and my buddies, we always would go out and hang out and drink in parks and stuff. And we met this guy, Dustin, and he was from Huntington Beach, right? Surfer guy. Came out, he had all this crazy surfer lingo. You know, all these little things that he would say that we thought was totally cool. It was like we were hanging out with Jeff Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Anyway, he called farts bogs. He'd be like, "Oh, bro, did you just bog?" I'd be like, "What the fuck is that?" And
That's how I was when I have like the same story, but it's with you. So I can't believe it's another guy that created this.
right? Yeah, he would call
1990.
farts bogs, and I thought that was the stupidest, funniest thing I'd ever heard. It just cracked me up. It just sounded so funny. And when I met you, everybody called you Queef instead of Keith.
Yeah.
And of course, a queef is a pussy fart.
A bog.
And then I'm like, okay, let's add a pussy fart to an ass fart.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
he's Queef bog.
Yeah, it's
And
Queef Bog.
you were called Queef dog.
Queef dog.
Everybody called
yeah.
you Queef
Well,
dog.
there was
And
a
so I just
bunch
changed
of
it to
different
Queef.
iterations, but
Yeah, I heard the Queef dog thing, and I'm like, you know what? Not dog, bog, Queef bog.
And then
He's a pussy fart and an ass fart.
And
As
it
I-
stuck for 25 years.
well, the bog part did. The
Yes.
queef part, or the queef part, like as I got older, I was like, fuck this queef shit, so I dropped it. But you know why the bog name actually stuck?
No.
Well, because you started that with a little click, but then Halo came out in like 2002, and when you got killed in the game, it would say you were killed by, and I put a bog. Because I just thought that was fucking hilarious. Because that was already like a nickname that you gave me and stuff.
Right.
So then everyone in the Halo community started calling me Bog, and then for years, everyone just kind of knows me as Bog. Eventually, I changed my gamer tag actually to Ep1. This is what's funny too. So I kind of know how long I've known someone by the nickname they've given me.
Right.
So if someone calls me Bog, I'm like, oh, I've known you some fucking like mid 90s, late 90s,
Right.
Because like Manny calls me Bog and shit, you know. But if you call me Ep1, it's like mid 2000s. I don't even know what the fuck you call me. You just say Keith.
Keith. Yeah.
Well,
What? That's so
you know
boring,
how,
bro.
You know how over time, nicknames
Dickhead,
get
you know,
morphed and
asshole.
get transformed over time. You know, you got like you start with one nickname, but
Yeah.
then you end up with like 10.
Well, not you. You had the same one fucking like it's been Oompa since you were like what, 5?
13.
13?
Yeah,
12,
yeah.
13.
There's a good story
I've
behind
never
that.
heard any other iterations of
Yeah.
Oompa.
Oomps, Oompdog, Double O,
Yeah.
Oomski. I mean, yeah, tons.
But now
I
it's
got
just
tons.
Gap.
Yeah, well, I got the tooth.
Let's
Is
do
it
these.
mine?
Let's do these fucking shots.
tooth?
Chad, come here for a second.
Oh, is this mine?
Yeah.
All right,
let's go.
everybody. Andrew.
I just want to say thank all you guys for fucking being a part of this very first episode. It means a lot. I don't know what I'm doing, so you guys are really fucking helping me out big time.
Salutations.
Cheers.
Salute, guys.
Cheers.
All right, man. To world peace.
Drink that shit, Oompa.
I did.
What the fuck?
Drink it all, baby. You can do it. You
So,
can do it.
I had a bunch of questions I want to ask you about Pelvic, man.
Almost.
What is the state of the new album?
Well, it's in the writing stages right now. For the last probably 4 or 5 months, Kelly and John took a little vacation. Dan and I and Byron have gotten together once a week to work on new music and write stuff. And we like to write in our spare time, so we've written a bunch of new songs, and then we just recently brought the other guys back in to kind of learn the songs. And as we've taught them what we wrote, of course it evolves because you got new guys in there, the whole rhythm section.
Yeah.
So you start going, oh, that change sucked, and we start changing around. So we're working on that now. We got about 8 of them down. We got about 11 to go.
So that's what I was wondering is like how does Pelvic Meatloaf decide when a new album comes out? Do you guys constantly writing songs and you're like maybe we should put these songs out now, or is like I think we should write a new album now, and then you guys consciously like write an album? Like how does Pelvic decide to make that decision to come out with a new album?
Well, we've been around so long, it's really evolved. So
Yeah, let's real quick. That's a perfect segue. Let's talk about first. Give us the story, the history about Pelvic Meatloaf.
Yeah, that's actually yeah. That's,
Let's start from the.
I know this
beginning,
story.
man.
I know this story, but
All right.
for the people who don't know, this
yeah.
is definitely a bit.
Right.
I
For
know
the people that
I know
don't
you've
know.
told this a million times, but
For the people that don't know, Pelvic is a really huge local legend.
exactly. And if you
Not
don't
just
know,
local.
if you don't know who Pelvic Meatloaf is and you live in Phoenix, then either A, you don't care about the local music scene, or B, you're a fucking asshole. Right?
right.
Well, for me and you, Keith, Pelvic was the starting
Oh,
point
you know what?
for my band. They helped us grow.
Well, one of the. I know we keep
What year is
interrupting.
this?
That was my 25th birthday, man. So
That was one of my first shows that I met you. So what year was that?
That was 96.
96. I was 16 years old at this motherfucking party.
And he was
Fucking
25.
jam. This is when you named my band Log.
Right? Indeed.
But anyway, the history
Log,
of Pelvic
Bog.
Meatloaf.
Okay. Well, it's really stupid, man. I never wanted, everybody wants to be a fucking rock star of some sort, I guess, but I never thought about being in a band or anything like that. It was a joke. I was on, I had just graduated high school at Horizon High School in 1990. So this is late 1990. I was out of school already, and I had my first apartment with my buddy, and we would just get drunk and play guitars together, and we were awful. And I decided to play a prank on my old high school. So I called up the student council, and they used to have bands come in during Spirit Week right before homecoming and play during lunch hour for the kids. And I called them up and I said, hey, check this out. You know, since I left high school, I became a rock star. And I want to come back and play the school. Check this out. Here's my band. And I held up the phone to a speaker, and it was playing some European metal band called Power Mad at the time. And they were like, whoa, that's you? I'm like, oh, yeah, totally. Well, we want to play Spirit Week this week. And they're like, oh, how about tomorrow? I'm like, dude, we're down. Hung up the phone. I'm like, yes. I didn't have a band at all. I'm like, oh, shit, now how do I do this? So I called up all my buddies that I knew had instruments, and everybody sucked. But they had instruments. I called up my buddy Opie, who had a drum set. My brother Jesse had a guitar, and blah, blah, blah. I told him, I said, hey, we're in a band, and we're playing our first show tomorrow at Horizon High School. And they're like, what, dude? I'm like, come on, it's going to be awesome. We'll wear masks.
What kind of masks?
Just Frankenstein masks and like devil masks and whatever we could have, and whatever we had on hand. But anyway, so we went there, and we didn't rehearse ever. We just showed up with our gear, and we set it up, and then, you know, I just said, oh, our band's called Pelvic Meatloaf, and our first song is called Pelvic Meatloaf Rules. I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 4, and everybody just started playing. We didn't tune up together or rehearse or anything, so everybody just started.
Just their own riffs?
And I started yelling lyrics about, you know, whatever was offensive that came to my mind and freestyling shit over it. And it was funny. For probably the first 5 minutes, I would imagine. You know, people were like, what the fuck? You know, like, it was horrible cacophony of bullshit. And they eventually literally pulled the plug on us after about 20 minutes of us just making god-awful noise. And it was stupid. I pulled a rubber chicken out of my pants, was choking my chicken in front of the crowd, and all this
straight
shit.
up GGL and shit?
Oh, it was dumb, yeah.
So were you embarrassed? Did you not give a fuck? Like, what was going through your head while this was happening?
I have never given a fuck.
I knew that.
Amen.
Embarrassment is
Amen.
That's why I love this guy.
non-existent.
Yeah.
So I was just.
But
being
your
a
first time
dickhead.
on stage, that's a great feeling to have from the very beginning. You know what I'm saying? Because that probably taught you a lesson.
It was an awakening in my soul that I realized that what I wanted to do with my life was to be a jackass.
Yeah.
And so it was.
So that's when that was born? Kind of?
Yeah, pretty much. I was just like, you know what? I like being a fucking idiot in front of people.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was going to be a one-off. They actually pulled the plugs, literally. They called the cops and had us trespass from the school grounds so we could never come back and all this stuff. And they were just like, fuck you, you know, because I was singing about, like, sexual shit and just like whatever, you know, just horrible stuff in front of the high school. And so anyway, they kicked us off. So we all went up and met up at Peter Piper Pizza on Tatum and Greenway afterwards, and we were laughing about the prank we had just pulled. And school got out, and the kids started showing up there to play video games after school, and people were coming up to us like, that was the funniest shit I ever saw. You got to play my party this weekend. I'm like, we're not a real band.
You are now.
And they're like, dude, seriously, play the party. It sucked so bad it was hilarious. So I'm like, well,
holy shit. So
we'll do whatever for free beer. You know, we're kids. We're like, oh, free beer if we play your party? Okay, we'll make dicks of ourselves in front of everybody. So we started doing that. And then, you know, fast forward, after doing that for a little while just to make dicks of ourselves for free beer, you know, eventually we kind of learned how to play music. And then that's now it's going to be 30 years.
I know, I was going to say.
30 years next year.
Sure, 30 years. Do you guys do anything special for that, or?
We'll have a 30-year anniversary show. We're hoping to have the new album out by then. We got a little pause on it right now. Our drummer just got diagnosed with cancer. Yeah, so kind of a bummer, man. He hit me up last month and said, dudes, I got cancer. I got this big fucking lump starting to grow out the side of my neck. And so he had to go get surgery. We had to cancel our show last weekend at Joe's Grotto because he had to get surgery to get it removed and stuff. So he's going to do that, do some radiation. You know, so we're all pulling for him, but
positive vibes out to him, man. I know how that dealing with that shit is. It's
the coolest thing is I called him yesterday,
just
to see how he's doing. He just had the surgery less than a week ago, and I said, "Hey, John, how you doing, man?" And he said, "Oh, you know, I'm all right. I might miss like a week of rehearsal."
A week?
I'm like, "What?" Oh, dude, take all the time you need,
no
dude.
shit.
Like, come on, man. Yeah. And he was like, "No, I really want to get back together and work on the new shit." So we're like, I'm just tripped out by the guy. He's a beast.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's badass.
Yeah.
That's cool. cool.
anyway,
John, get better,
negative-
bro.
Yeah, get better, man.
Love
Yeah.
you, man.
He's one of the best guys in the world. He's
Yeah.
super healthy, man.
It always happens with the best people.
Yes,
Yeah.
you know, he's 50 years old. He does CrossFit. He does all kinds of. He like rides his bike and he does triathlons and shit in other states. Like, he's like the super healthy guy,
shit,
and then all of a
I
sudden he gets
know.
slammed with the bullshit disease.
So real quick,
Right.
is
That's
he
BS.
is he using the medical marijuana route?
No, he's not. He's actually and he found out a month ago. So he just got the surgery, and they were supposed to get it all out. Apparently they couldn't get it all out of his neck, so he's gonna have to do some radiation and stuff like that, and see what goes from there. So we'll see.
John, real quick, if I'm sure he's seen the medical marijuana and everything that's going on. Just real quick, my brother had bone cancer, 3 years. It's been about 3 years total now, and he beat it. Literally
Nice.
100% thanks to
badass.
our good friend Soggy Ian. Ian came to
rest
me
in
and was
peace,
like,
Soggy.
Rest in peace,
yeah,
Soggy.
he was like,
Yes, sir.
here, let me try and help. Let me give you these THC pills.
CBDs and
CBDs,
stuff.
yeah.
Everything, 800 milligrams in each, or 200 milligrams a pill, 800 milligrams total. You'd have to take that a day. By the end of it, the doctor literally closed the door, got all the nurses out of the room, and told my parents, your son is alive because of the medical marijuana.
Oh wow.
I wouldn't say this around other professionals, and I'll deny it if you say I did,
Yeah,
but 100%, he's alive because of that.
that's awesome.
And
It's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's great.
my mom passed away from cancer, and I honestly think if she was on that same regimen, that she would have had at least a way better chance of surviving. She passed away in the late 2000s when it was like medical marijuana was real taboo.
Right.
And but I honestly think medical marijuana would have like made her sleep more, which would have like made her heal more,
you
made her
heal while
less
you sleep.
anxious.
Yeah, you heal
When
while
she
you
was
sleep.
up, she'd be. I wouldn't mind if she was high, because then she'd be laughing. She would have
Right.
eaten more. She would have retained more nutrients. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
think there would have been a lot of benefits with that. So
Yeah.
that's a good point, man.
The CBDs, I've been hearing a lot of good things about them, man. I've
Yeah.
been hearing a lot of good stuff. I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety and stuff, and I just recently started taking CBD chewies,
Oh, really?
little chewable things at night. They're little gummies or whatever. And they taste great.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
I have to really control myself from eating a whole damn jar because they're good. But
Yeah.
they say don't take more than 2 in 6 hours. So I've been
Is it CBD only? Does there THC in it, or just?
CBD only. I don't like getting
Yeah,
high.
I know
man.
you're no. I know.
I'm
yeah,
not.
I know.
I've never been a get a high guy except for a little window in my life.
I like
so.
how you make fun of stoners. I think it's hilarious. I love when you.
Everybody I know is a stoner, man. Everybody I
I
know.
love when
so.
you rip on it. It's
I love
hilarious.
stoners, but
so
fuck
real
you
quick,
guys.
I got to geek out a little bit. 99, you guys came out with one of my all-time favorite albums,
I'm glad
Third Power.
I'm glad you're bringing this
Yeah,
up, dude.
Third
Oh,
Power.
wow.
Yeah.
Well,
now,
thank you. I hate it.
I wanted to
I haven't
ask
these
you.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to be honest though, man. That came out, and that was the first album that I remember. You know, in high school at the time, I was in high school, that thinking, "Holy shit, this came from Phoenix." You know
Oh,
what I
wow.
mean?
Thanks, man.
Oh yeah,
so-
me
Yeah.
too. You
Yeah.
were like
Right.
a rock star to me, dude.
Yep.
Yeah. Everything.
Seriously.
Wow. Really?
I remember.
Fuck yeah.
I remember this guy's at my house, sitting at the end of my bed with just boxers on, both of us, and my stepdad walks in. Remember that?
Doing dick tricks.
Yeah.
We came home wasted at my parents' house one night.
Can we hang on a second? Can we talk about dick tricks for a second?
Oh shit. Yeah. Why not?
Of
course. Of course, we have to.
Is that cool?
Yeah. Why not?
Okay, I have a question about
Nothing's
dick
off
tricks.
limits with
Okay.
me, bro. It's
How
all good.
many and what new dick tricks do you have now in 2019 compared to 1998? And would you be willing to do your dick tricks as freely in this new super PC era these days as you would
All right.
1998?
2-part question.
Times
Well,
have changed, bro.
Yeah.
the dick tricks that I know. I tie my dick in a knot around my ball sack.
I love it.
Yeah, my dick is not big. Let me put that out there right now. It's not big at all. I have a little dick, but it's stretchy like a little piece of gum. So I can stretch it around my ball sack and tie it, and people are like, "What the fuck?" You know. So that's always been a cool little party trick. You know, I do dumb shit like that, but that's the main one that I've been known for, is tying my dick in a knot. And can I still do it? Yes. Do I still do it? Sometimes if I get wasted, it hurts now. I've gotten a lot fatter. I've gotten a lot fatter in the years. So like part of my dick is like up here on my belly now. Like, yeah, that used to be dick, but now it's belly because I got fat. Yeah. So like my dick has gotten like smaller, so it hurts a little bit more to pull it out. Do I have any new tricks? No. No. I'm sorry, I don't have any new tricks.
I'm retired that.
You know what my favorite one was? The San Francisco surprise. I do that one all the time.
I haven't done that in a while.
He'll do that. You guys are both gonna do.
For anybody that doesn't know, the San Francisco surprise. I don't know why I even called it that. Probably because guys in back then San Francisco was known as like the gay city. And it's like, so it's going to surprise gay dudes, and it's like a birthday party.
Yeah,
so
it's a cool trick.
Well, I just kind of grab the neck of my dick, and I put my finger on the head, and I stuff it down into the thing like a turtleneck sweater. I stuff it down, and I stuff it all the way down and keep rolling it back until my dick is concave. There is no dick left. And then I pull my balls over it. I pull my ball sack up. And usually they're kind of slimy and stuff because I'm a dirty pig. And so it'll stick there for a second. I'll let it go, and it's really slow, like the nuts come off. It peels off, and then it goes, and it pops out all slow. And that's where everybody yells, surprise.
Surprise, yeah. That's I love it. I love that trick.
Yeah. That's how I think I got my wife.
So would you do that today?
Today, right now?
In 19 or 2019?
I suppose if we want to do this. The
like right now, like you do right now.
Stand on the table.
No, but how do you honestly feel about this PC area that we live in now? Like, and why is it like the way it is? Like, what's your opinion? Like it's fucked up. Things are weird. Like, why does everyone get so? Remember, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. What the fuck is going on right now?
You know what? From your perspective, I really miss that philosophy. But the thing, I blame it entirely on social media.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's like everything on social media right now is politics and outrage and all these things, right? And before, it wasn't so easily accessible. You didn't know everybody's inner thought and inner feelings.
Yeah.
We could all be hanging out. They could be Democrats, Republicans, atheists, Christians, Jews, whoever in a crew of people. We're all just hanging out, drinking beers and having a good time, smoking weed, whatever. And it was all cool because everybody has their own personal ideas on everything. And that's the way it was. But now with social media, it puts everybody's inner thoughts right out there for everyone, and then there's the comments and stuff, and it's out there in print for everybody
forever.
And it just kind of sucks because before that we didn't have to know all that stuff, and some people get really butthurt when they see things in print rather than in the context of hearing it out loud.
Well,
when you're
plus
talking.
you can read things a certain way.
Yeah. So context has changed, and now it's like, you put something out there and people get offended by it.
Well,
and
they
then
instantly
they
believe it.
Well,
whenever you read, you instantly believe it.
And there's a lot of things.
You have a reaction to it, and that's what the problem is. Someone could put out something completely fake, and someone will have a reaction to
just
it.
off the headline.
Right, and then people argue about it, and then all of a sudden best friends become enemies because of some shit that was in print, and it's completely out of context for real life. Like, if we were in person and we talked about something, you hear inflections in people's voices and stuff, and you know when somebody's being sarcastic and stuff like that. But when it's in print, you don't read sarcasm correctly.
Oh,
you
no.
don't read in
and I'm a sarcastic
inflection.
motherfucker, so that's why I don't post any a lot of shit about stuff like that, because I'm so sarcastic that I know people will interpret it. But everyone knows when I'm talking, I'm going to hang out with the way I am. You know what I mean? But when I type something man, this could be read really bad. You know what I mean?
Especially let's just say comedians. Like somebody
I feel bad for comedians right now.
Somebody like Anthony Jeselnik or Norm Macdonald, who's probably better known. He's so dry with his comedy.
My God.
And you have to see him say something. You have to see and hear it for it to be funny. Because if you just read it, it's not funny. It's just a dickhead thing to say.
Yeah.
But when you see him say it and you hear him say it, you go, oh, he's fucking around. So it's funny.
Yeah.
But that's where social media has fucked up everything, man.
Mm-hmm. I think it's also
bums me out.
They're kind of, even though they're not hiding behind a name, or not everybody is, but because you're not here, there's a lot of the keyboard warriors.
Oh,
man.
yeah, for
you know
sure.
what I mean?
Oh. People have gotten really comfortable,
Yes.
really comfortable throwing disrespect at people because they're not going to get an immediate punch in the mouth from it.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Well, plus we live in a very comfortable time where people just can do those kinds of things. You know what I mean?
Real quick, what do you guys think about this Liam Neeson stuff?
You know what? I don't care.
Amen.
I don't
fucking
care.
man.
Liam Neeson, he's just an actor. He's an action hero. I just went and saw the new Liam Neeson movie the other night, just 2 nights ago. It was pretty good. It was typical Liam Neeson. He kills a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Taking 5.
You know? Yeah. So, somebody kills his son, and he goes and kills them all.
Yeah.
You know, it's typical Liam Neeson. But you know what? The thing that he's talking about, the whole thing that they're trying to manufacture some outrage about is, he said that, one of his friends got raped by a black dude or something like that. And when he was younger, and he was like trolling black neighborhoods, like hoping that a black dude would come out so he could kill him. That's just a human reaction. That's an honest thing to say. He's not a racist. The dude makes out with black chicks and stuff.
Well,
he's
also,
not racist.
also,
but it's just, like taken out of context, it sounds like, well, this guy's a Klan member.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And-
no,
and-
that's the
come on,
media making that narrative.
It's a
for
spin.
sure.
It's a
but
spin.
I just think he's a dumbass for even telling the story. Like, why would you
Intelligence
fucking tell
probation,
that story?
dude.
Right.
Like,
In
who
this
the
day and
fuck-
age-
who the fuck is his publicist?
In
Like,
this day
his
and age,
publicist
you
must have
can't
been
be
like,
honest.
From the background, go, what
Yeah.
the fuck are you
You
doing?
can't just be honest in this day and age because people are going to dissect it and go,
Oh, yeah.
Well,
you know
this
what?
totally proves that, because he probably was just trying to be like, listen, this people can change, though. He
Yeah.
even said when he was talking about it, wrongly, I felt that way, and he's kind of just showing. I felt like that was what he was trying to get across. One, and the main point of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But here's the problem, just like you're saying, it's like the great Joey Diaz says, intelligence probation. You
Yeah.
know where you're at. You know that you're a Hollywood star and you're on camera. Just kind of, maybe if he would have just said it a different way, or not said that black bastard or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
But I really think
now
that
every
that
little
gets a
thing
little ridiculous.
Yeah, every
yes.
little thing that you say now on social media, because it's in print, it becomes permanent.
Yes, and that's the
so
problem.
people go, oh, that's just him.
Yes.
And it's like, no, that was me for a brief moment when I was
And everyone's been an
emotionally
asshole before.
when I was
yeah.
emotionally
Yeah.
charged,
And
and
I
that's
wish-
the way I felt at the moment. And I'm being honest about it. And
Exactly,
now
I'm being
everybody's
honest
like,
about
dude,
it, yes.
you're Nazi. Like, come on, man, Liam Neeson, get out of here.
They want to take him off of the movie poster, and they're gonna spend all this money to do this stupid shit.
You can't mess with Qui-Gon Jinn, man.
Yeah, right?
That's just
Amen.
against the rules. He's a Jedi.
Yeah, he's one of my
He's a
favorite
Jedi.
Jedis because he was rebellious against
I
all
actually
those
heard that they're
motherfuckers.
gonna edit him out of those movies.
No,
Yeah.
they're not.
Yeah,
Yes.
they are.
What?
Yeah.
You
no.
gotta be.
You can't delete
fucking
history.
kidding me.
You can't
No,
go
they're
delete.
not.
That's
Edit
another
them
big
out of
trend.
Star Wars.
Yep.
No, Star
What?
Wars, get the fuck out of here.
They're not gonna edit them out.
That's
They're gonna
another
have to
big trend that's going
they
on.
said
Is
they're
people,
gonna
people,
redo his whole face and everything.
yeah, people are trying to.
Fuck yours.
People are trying to delete history, and come on, man, history sucks.
Qui-Gon Ooms.
History sucks, man. If we
Just gotta
lived
give
the
'em the
same way
gap.
we lived back 1,000 years ago or 500 years ago, everybody's dickheads because they're uneducated.
No, 1,000 years ago, all the people
uneducated.
complaining wouldn't have survived and be alive.
Right.
They
But the
would
thing
have
is
died
like,
off.
you don't want to delete that history because that history, you are the sum of what you have been.
Yeah.
You learn as things happen.
Yes.
People learn and stuff. And there's been a lot of wrong done back in the past, but you can't delete the history.
Yeah.
You can't delete it. They're tearing down statues and all this stuff. And it's like, come on, man, what are you doing? That's like
Yeah.
ISIS knocking down all the old Christian statues
Yeah.
and stuff. You're just getting rid of history.
Yeah.
That shit.
You learn from it.
Yeah, learn
Yeah.
from it. Don't
Oh, yeah.
delete it. Don't delete it, man. Just respect it and go, that shit, that's not cool now.
Yeah.
It's not cool now.
But that's how it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
People are stupid and too sensitive these days, and fuck them.
Cheers to that.
Oh, okay. Cheers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I
You're
wanted
going
to
to
ask
finish your
you,
shot finally?
Oh, Jesus
I'm
Christ.
gonna finish my shot. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow. He's going to finish his shot. Maybe.
Didn't
no,
you,
no. Maybe he'll finish it next 2 times.
Didn't you get to party with Pantera?
Many, many times, yes.
I was going to ask you about that. Like, what the fuck was it like partying with Pantera?
It was awesome, man. I'll tell you, as a little metalhead,
Rest in peace.
rest in peace, 2 of the guys. But as a little metalhead, it was like Pantera kind of changed my life quite a bit. Like they were the first. Like metal was cool, I thought, but I was always into shit that grooved a little bit more. And they were the first metal band that actually added groove to their shit. Yeah. And they were the coolest, most groundbreaking metal thing that came out with Cowboys from Hell and then Vulgar Display of Power and stuff. I was like, oh, dude. So we kind of modeled ourselves in that genre. And it was the coolest thing ever, man. The first time I got to meet Pantera was at Compadre Stadium. It was a U-Fest that was going on. Yeah, it was Chris Poland from Megadeth's Metalopolis, whatever. Pantera, and it was like it was also Sacred Reich and Flotsam and Jetsam, local heroes.
Flotsam and Jetsam, yeah.
So
my boy
Pantera wasn't huge yet, so they were like third band from the top, and we were all hanging out like little kids, 18 years old or whatever, hanging out at the side entrance from the stage to the backstage area. We're hanging there, and the guys from Pantera were coming up writing autographs for people, and we were underage kids, and we were hanging out, and they're drinking, and I'm like, dude, let me get a beer. Hey, why not ask?
Yeah.
And Phil Anselmo's like, looks around, he's like, grabs a Heineken out of the cooler, and he hands it right through the fence,
Fucking
pushes it right through the
classic.
fence to me. I'm like, yeah, dude. And he's like pushing Heinekens through the fence to me and all my underage friends.
Classic.
And we're drinking it, and all of a sudden the security guy comes around, and he's like, hey, you can't be doing that. And he goes, oh, well, these guys are with me. Just open the gate.
Bad.
Let us in.
Wow.
And we're like, whoa, no way.
So this
we're
was
hanging
before
out.
they were even like Pantera. This,
Well,
'cause
they
you
had just become that.
But they were still not
become
This is
headlining.
right as
Right. They weren't headlining
that's
yet, but they had
fucking
just
Cowboys
become.
came out.
Like we had just. We were at the show because we saw the Pantera home video. The first
I know
one that
those
came out.
videos are the funnest
And I was just like, these
fucking
guys-
music videos ever.
Yes.
Yeah, it makes
Yes.
being a rock star look so
It makes
cool.
you want to
like-
be one.
Oh yeah, totally.
And they were the coolest guys ever. So we went back there, and all of a sudden we're partying with them, and we're hanging out, drinking, and all this stuff, and it was so cool, right? The coolest thing ever is he said, next time we come to town, we'll see you guys again. I'm like thinking, yeah, right. Sure. Yeah, right. The next time we came to town, he wrote down our names.
Wow.
Next time they came to town was about a year later, and we just went up to will call, and our names were on will call.
No way.
Yeah, right?
That's
You
fucking
That's insane.
badass.
You must have felt like the baddest motherfucker. Like
I was just like, no way.
like in
he
Wayne's World
kept
when they
his
have
promise.
they're like their
Like we went up there thinking that they're gonna be like, yeah, who the fuck are you? No,
Yeah.
get out of here. But we were on will call, and we got to go party backstage with them again. And then every single time Pantera ever came, we ended up getting lucky and getting backstage with those guys. We'd party with them and hang out for the night. They even took us out to L.A. with them one night. They were playing at Compton Terrace. Yeah, Compton Terrace with White Zombie and I Hate God, right? We're back there. I'm having a drinking contest with Dimebag. We're like drinking Blacktooths and shit, having a drinking
What the
contest.
fuck?
Next thing you know, Big Val, their main tour guy, comes out and he's dragging him off. Like, you gotta go. Get on the bus. We're leaving, bro. And I'm like, you're quitting. I'm like, I win. And he's like, no, fuck that shit. He's like, what are you doing tomorrow? I'm like, nothing. He's like, come out to LA. We continue this.
Wow.
And I said, all right. He's like, Rich Fourmy plus what, 5? I'm like, all right, cool. LA Forum they're playing. So
Holy shit.
me and Byron grabbed a couple guys and we're like, let's go out there. Me, Byron, Zeno, and Kelly from the band at the time, and our manager Sabrina. We drove out there. We cruised up to Will Call. Our names are on Will Call, front and center tickets, plus all access passes. And then we went in there and just partied all night. It was so cool, man.
Wow,
it was
man.
the coolest thing ever. We got really lucky. So we got to hang out and drink with our idols multiple
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
That's
That's
cool, man.
fucking amazing. At least it was cool. A lot of people meet their idols, and it's fucking terrible.
Yeah, I've met a few. I've got to meet just about every rock star I ever had in a poster on my wall as a high school kid.
So
You know,
what
in my
are
bedroom.
those posters right now on your wall?
I don't have any posters on my wall.
What
No,
about
in
then?
high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In high school? Oh, man.
What were those posters in high school on your wall?
Oh, shit. Well, Slayer, Metallica, Megadeth, Flotsam and Jetsam, Sacred Reich.
obviously you met
course.
all those guys. Yeah.
The Ramones.
You met the Ramones?
Yeah,
Holy
the
shit.
Ramones, the Cure, the
Wow.
Misfits, all these bands, And I've actually gotten to drink and hang out at some level with just about every rock star I ever worshipped as a kid. And then there's been a few that were, disappointing. They were just kind of like a little bit too rock starry to be cool with the kids that were backstage or whatever. But the vast majority of them have been so cool and so welcoming and stuff. It made me want to continue doing music.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's really cool when rock stars can take a little time out of their day to make the young fans feel important.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Like, not only did Pantera's video, like, I'm not even the biggest Pantera fan. I love Pantera and I respect them to death. I love a lot of their shit, but like that home video made me want to be a fucking rock star.
Yeah.
But also your fucking home video, dude. I was trying to find that online. Where do I watch that? I'll buy that, dude. Is that still available?
It's
what was
so
that
bad.
called?
It was called the Pelvic Meatloaf home video.
Yeah, dude, that made me want to be a rock star. Like that fucking, dude, that is some of the funniest shit ever. Fucking,
We did that because of the Pantera home video.
Yeah, totally.
And we're like, all right, we're way more party animals than these guys. So we got to put out a video. And we did it of our first tour that we went on tour, some live shots and stuff here and there. And mostly, it was 2.5 hours of stupidity with about 20 minutes of music in it.
Yeah, I know, but that's like sometimes fun for the fan. Like you want to.
The fans want to see that.
Back then, like, your heroes weren't on social media. Like, you see them, their stories and all that shit. So they were more mysterious back then.
Right.
So when you saw a home video of that stuff, and you're like, to me, when I saw Pantera, all their pictures were them fucking looking down at cars mean, and I'm like, their riffs are tough and they're mean. And then you watch their videos, and I'm like, these are the funniest, goofiest, nicest
just like
dudes.
us. Yeah,
just like us.
Just like
exactly,
us.
just like
Yeah,
us.
they're humans.
But like at first, I was like, these guys are mean and tough, and like, what the fuck?
No, they're not.
'Cause they're in there, but they're just like nice.
Back in
fucking-
the old days, though, that was the marketing, you know? Like
No, totally.
Dio and Ozzy, they're not devil worshippers, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of shit, you know, that you're selling a fucking image.
Make it as mysterious as
music.
possible.
Right. And then the age of like video cameras and all that shit came out, and bands started showing the behind the scenes footage and stuff,
Yes.
and you're like, oh,
That's
whoa,
so
this is
sick.
cool, especially when it's unedited like Pantera did.
Yeah.
You know, and it was more of the goofy stuff. You know, they're not trying to make themselves look like stars. They're trying to show how they really are.
They were literally just filming when they were partying, and then just
and you're like, whoa, man,
putting
I
it
can
out.
relate to that, and that made me a way bigger fan.
Yeah.
Way bigger fan. And so we tried to put out a video similar to that, mainly for our own benefit, because we would like to watch our own stupid antics when we're sober, because we don't remember them because we're so drunk when it was all happening. But we put out this video, and it's 2.5 hours of stupidity. But the thing is it was on VHS, and we were recording it from VHS to VHS to VHS to VHS. So multiple generations of degradation going on. And nowadays, I met my wife in 2007, and I found an old videotape of that, and I'm like, hey, you got to watch this. So we sat in my bedroom, and I put it on, and the VHS tape had degraded so much that I had to turn the brightness all the way up on the TV just so you could kind of make out the picture.
Wow.
So that shit's gone.
Yeah.
I tried to get it digitally transferred to digital so I could
There's no master
put it back
copy
out.
or OG copy.
No, there was that one. I tried to do it. I tried to do it about 10 years ago, and the copy that came out, the dude that did it, it was in 480 by 6 or 40 or whatever. So it's tiny, and so if you extend it out to the like a
all
TV these
pixelated.
days, it looks like dog shit.
Yeah.
But it's probably a better thing that way, because back then people weren't so thin-skinned about a lot of things, and if we released it now, we would be like, everybody'd be like, those guys are Nazis.
Yep.
You know, just because of our humor when we're drunk. I mean, there's stuff that's racist, and there's
When we're
stuff that's
drunk.
like sexist and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, but we're not dicks, man.
No.
You know, it's
And
just,
you're
we're-
young kids
we're-
at that time.
We're kids, and we're talking
Yeah.
shit,
Still
man.
like that.
We're just talking dumb shit.
Yes.
And we're saying stuff that
still like that.
nowadays would not be okay. Not be okay.
What
So it's
about,
probably better that it's degraded to
So
non-existence.
I can never watch that. You're saying.
It's going to surface when you run for president.
Right. Oh yeah, I'm sure they'll get a perfectly crisp HD copy when I run for president.
Well,
They have
and
the
I-
OG
and
copy.
I am running.
Keith,
And I am
they
running.
have the OG copy.
I've run for president the last 2 elections.
I wish
For
I'd have
real?
known that. I would
Oh,
definitely written you in, man. No doubt about it.
Oh yeah, I give free tickets to anybody that runs that writes me in. If
There you
show
go,
me
prove
a picture,
it.
you
For like ever.
send me a picture of you writing me in on your presidential ballot, and I will give you free passes to my shows.
Okay.
There you go, guys.
All right. I'll put a link or something.
Yeah.
Right there when you said that.
Yeah.
Care of the Bogcast.
Rich Fourmy for president. My tagline last time was "Feel the dick."
For 2020.
I think that's
Feel the
perfect.
dick.
You
Dick
get away
Fourmy.
with it, yeah.
Dick Fourmy.
You could even San Francisco surprise them at some point.
Oh, and I totally would. Oh man, my campaign
Campaign could
my
be
campaign logo.
Dick's for me.
Right.
Your logo could be
my,
like a-
my campaign logo was
Dick's
Just
for
a
me.
balls and a
boomerang
dick.
of that.
It was balls and a dick that was stars and stripes, and it was shooting out a bunch of fireworks and stuff. And it said "Feel the dick." Everybody was doing
You
the
need to
feel
make
the
that
burn
into a
thing.
Are you
shirt.
doing it again though?
Feel
Make
the
that
burn.
into a shirt.
I'll run against Trump this time. Yeah, I'll run against him, and I'll probably win. I think I'm going to win every time.
I want a Dick Fourmy for president 2016 or whatever. Yeah.
My band used to run for Congress every year. Every year back in the old day, we used to have bumper stickers that said Pelvic Meatloaf for Congress, and they had all the stickers on there. And there was other ones that said, Pelvic Meatloaf gave me crabs and stuff like that.
I remember that one.
Those are the
that
more
one,
honest
yeah.
ones.
Yes.
Did you talk to your constituents?
I talk to my constituents every chance I get. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
True that.
Yeah.
My constituents are this audience.
So another story that we got to hear about is the infamous Jerry Springer.
No, not Jerry Springer.
Or,
Lisa?
Yeah,
Lisa.
Lisa.
I was
yeah,
actually
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
ask about that because
Yeah.
it was on that home video. So
It was.
Can I at least see? Is that footage available anywhere? We have to have another copy of that.
I wish I had a copy of it, man.
I'm
I
sure
so
they
wish
have a
I
hard
did.
copy at that.
I've tried to contact him, but I don't know
broadcast
who to contact. You're the actor now. Maybe you've got the hookup with Paramount.
I wonder whatever happened to her.
Shit.
It was
call
so
your
funny
agent.
how that
I
worked
actually
out.
Googled it. I Googled these. I was trying to find it. I wanted
Yeah.
to fucking watch
I've-
all that shit before
I
the
have too.
interview. And there's other clips of other shows,
Yeah.
but I could not fucking find that.
That one was actually, according to Lisa herself, she told me that was the highest rated episode they ever had. That was the most repeated episode
I
they ever
believe
had.
that. I totally believe
Because
that.
it's like a
fucking
mom
awesome.
Do
show.
you mind telling the story of that?
No, not at
Because
all.
the story that I actually want to hear is not only like why you're on there, the whole thing, but how you partied on their tab or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's part of it.
Okay, well, here's what happened. Back in the old days with those talk shows, the mom, stay-at-home mom talk shows
Yes,
that were on
yes.
every day, they used to post a little thing, a situation. Does this apply to you? If so, call this number.
Oh yeah,
You know?
totally. I remember.
So anyway, turns out I get home one day and I get this phone call. Ring, ring, ring. Answer the phone. Hello? Back then you didn't have caller ID and all that kind of shit, so you just kind of answered the phone. And I get this phone call. Hey, this is so-and-so from Paramount Studios, and I'm calling to find Rich. And I'm like, Rich Fourmy? Yeah, that's me. I'm like, holy shit, my band's getting signed. Fine. I thought that's how it worked. I had no idea. And I'm like, oh, here it is, big time now. Now we're famous. So I'm like, yeah, that's me. What's up? And they're like, well, we need you to be on our show. We're going to be on the Lisa Gibbons show, and we're going to be featuring you. And we're going to do it next Tuesday. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, are you available? I'm like, hell yeah, I'm available. I ain't got a job. All my time is free.
Talk
How
it
old
up.
were you at
Yeah,
this point?
talk it up.
This was 94, so I was like 22.
22, okay.
Yeah, anyway, she goes, we're going to have you on the show. Is it, can you be here on this time? I'm like, well, yeah, but I don't have a job or any money or anything. So I'm like, yeah, are you guys paying for the plane tickets and all that? And they're like, oh, we're going to put you up. We're going to take your flight and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh, sweet. Oh, fame.
Hell yeah.
It's right around the corner for me. Hell yes. So anyway, it turns out that the title of the show was called Slackers. Yeah, what happened was my mom had called the show and said, do you have a son or daughter in their 20s that's a complete slacker and you want them to get their life straightened out? If so, call the number. I thought it was about my band, man. So anyway,
The Lisa show wanted to check out Pelvic Meatloaf.
right? That's what I thought. I was a stupid kid. So anyway, I get my whole band goes. They all get plane tickets. And
Oh, I
we all
remember
go.
them in the audience.
I'm like, hey man.
hilarious.
I go, hey man, I got this awesome. They put us up at the Radisson Roosevelt Hotel on Hollywood Boulevard. Expensive hotel. That shit's like $500 a night.
Yeah.
Kind of shit.
Yeah, back
anyway,
then.
so yeah, I told the guys, I'm like, you can all stay in my room. It's all good. But they got a couple of rooms because there was like 18 or 19 of us that went. So we flew out. We get to the show. Well, we get to the hotel, and we went out partying, and we decided we're going to party up and down Hollywood Boulevard. We ended up finding bums, and we're like, hey, do you want to drink with us? And, like, we're getting bums drunk, like giving them whiskey and vodka and shit. Like, let's get hammered together and party. And then I put all these bums up in our hotel room that they give us in this
That's
super
even
classy
better,
place.
dude. That's awesome.
I had a hotel room full of bums. Me and Byron and the other guys from the band, we were running around playing naked ditch 'em through the fucking hotel. Being total fools. I ended up passing out in the back of some random truck in the parking lot, right? I passed out around daylight time. They came to get us. They sent the limo to come pick everybody up, and they had to send like this huge stretch limo, like a 20-person limo kind of thing, for all of us.
And the bombs or?
And well,
that'd be funny if it would have brought them.
They sent the limo up, and everybody loads up, and they get out of there, and they go out to the show, and I'm not there. And I'm the guy that's supposed to be on the show. And they're like, where's Rich? What the fuck? So they send another limo, and they send people out to look for me. And I come, somehow they rousted me out of the back of some truck in a parking lot. And I'm like, huh? What? You know, I was so wasted still. And they put me in the limo, and they speed me to the show. And they get up there, and they're like, oh, you're such an asshole, man. Like, and then I had shades on and stuff. And they were like, you got to take the shades off. It's going to make the lights all go fucked up, you know, on the camera and stuff. And I took off my shades, and I was so obviously still wasted. Like, my eyes are red and glossed over and shit. And they're like, yeah, put the shades back on. So, put the shades on. They start the story, and, you know, it's talking about what a slacker I am and all this stuff. And
well,
I'm
what's
like,
funny is what the show's about is exactly what's happening.
Exactly,
about
right.
The way you're on the way to the show. It's exactly what the show's about. So
right.
like,
And they brought all that up.
They're like, this fucking guy.
Yeah, they're like, oh, he's for real. This isn't an
this
act.
guy's legit. He's not an actor.
This guy really sucks.
Yeah.
We really got a slacker here, guys.
So it was so funny because they had my girlfriend, Kelly, at the time. They had her in the show, and she's like, you know, Lisa's asking her, she's like, you know, what are you going to do? I mean, do you support this guy? And she's like, well, I have for the last couple of years and stuff, but, you know, he just sleeps all day and drinks all night. And I'm like trying to defend myself legitimately. And
you guys were together?
Yeah.
And she was in the audience, right?
Yeah.
Like they brought her up.
But she was an audience guest. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
did you know she was going to be there?
Oh, yeah. She came with me.
Okay.
But yeah,
sometimes they do that. They'll be like, it all.
I didn't know she was
so
going
we
to.
got
I didn't know they were going to.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were going to feature her. They just asked if I could bring her, and I said yeah.
All
So
of
they
a sudden,
paid for her plane
she's talking shit. You're
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
It was so fucked up. Anyway, she's like, yeah, I've been supporting him for the last couple of years, but you know, she's like, our lease is up March 1st, and you know, if he doesn't have a job or anything, she's like, I'm moving back in with my mom. And I'm tired of taking care of him. And all of a sudden the whole audience is like, oh, you know. And Lisa goes, oh my God, what are you gonna do? You know, what are you gonna do if this happens? Are you gonna get a job or anything? I'm like, no. She's like, well, what are you gonna do if she kicks you out? And I'm still drunk, and I'm like, I'm gonna move in with you, Lisa. I'm like, I saw you checking me out before the show. I'm like, you got the money, you can be my sugar mama, you can take care of me. And she was just like, what? And of course, all my guys in the audience,
I was about to ask her,
all the guys were like, yeah. I always thought Lisa was so hot. She was like my dream girl back then. Anyway, they're like, yeah, and then she's like, oh my God, this guy's for real. Oh, holy shit. So the whole crowd hated my guts. You know, they're like, don't you even love this girl? And I'm like, well, I guess, yeah, in a weird way. You know, like, you know?
I remember fragments of everything you were saying. I was like, it's all coming back to me now. But I remember all those shots, and then one of my favorite shots is when they cut to a commercial. It would do a pan of the audience, and it's all these fucking crazy soccer moms. But then fucking Byron and the others, but they got like leather jackets on, and all like that. And fucking dude, I remember so that awesome. Clear as day for some reason.
Real quick, I have a story. I have a story. It was Halloween show. I think it was up in Flagstaff, and it was like a pelvic show. A couple others. Brick was there, but I broke my hand, so I couldn't play. But we were up there
at the old post office.
Yes,
with Torque. It was Torque CD release.
Yes, remember? Yeah. Okay, I remember mixing. Remember, Keith? We were upstairs. I was mixing, and that guy came over dancing. Remember, and he put like a couple pills.
Yeah, was that when we had to mix from the top?
Yeah,
from the second story.
Remember,
we had to keep running down because we're like, how do we mix from up here?
Right. So remember that guy came over and he put those 2 pills at the end of the mixer, and we were like, what the hell is he doing? He's like, it's okay, take it. So we're like, all right. So we take.
So you just take them. Yeah, it's okay. Take them.
Oh, he just said take it.
I was like 15.
No, we took them. Then after the show, there was an after party.
Then after the show, he took them.
Was it U of A? There was a party at U of A.
Or no, NAU.
Oh, yeah, bro. NAU. There was a party at NAU. We went there. That guy was there, too. And remember, he gave us, like, an ounce of shrooms?
Yeah, I totally.
I
remember the shroom part for sure.
Me and Keith, we took these shrooms, and all of us were sharing a hotel room with you. Remember, we were going up and down the elevator
for like 2 hours
for the buffet or
yeah.
the breakfast.
The buffet opened at 6, but we went at like 4,
And
going up and down the elevator.
And all
for
the
2
people
hours
at the
on
lobby
mushrooms.
are going,
What the?
We're like, is breakfast ready? They're like, it was like 5 minutes. Like, what the fuck? We'd go up and like,
Anyway.
it's time, and then we'd go back down.
the point of that story, but anyway, yeah, we were fucked up. It was hilarious. But the point of that story was when we came back, he was under the sink sleeping naked. I don't know if you remember that. He was like in
I was
fetal
naked.
under the sink.
I have many stories like that, but
We were
so
like-
they're all one story, but
We were
I'm
like,
sure
what
that
the
happened.
fuck?
I don't remember.
That happened on this night.
Ooh.
Because
it's
we
so
went back
funny.
the next day, me and my buddy, to get his truck. And I remember you laying there naked and you had a note on your chest. or
Oh, that's
something.
right.
We can edit this out if you want.
No. It's all good. It's all good. Hey,
No, I do remember that now. Yeah, there was a note on you.
No.
Oh.
hey, do you guys mind if I take a piss?
For
real
sure,
quick?
man. No,
Yeah,
I
let's,
totally
let's,
go.
let's
been-
take a break
I've
here.
been drinking all day.
Smoke break.
Umbo, so when was the first time you met Rich and the guys from Pelvic?
Take a smoke break.
What?
You want
No,
to
we'll
take a
keep
smoke
it
break?
going.
Okay.
Yeah. Because we
Yeah,
only
keep
got
it
like,
going.
he'll just pee and then we'll wrap.
Okay,
Because
cool.
we only have like 20 minutes anyway, right?
We're about 50 minutes in, but we're about 50 minutes in, but I have to take off.
And so we have 30 more minutes?
50, 30, 80 minutes? I thought you wanted 90.
Yeah, 90, yeah. I didn't hear what you said. Anyway, so when did you meet fucking Rich? Like, how did Brick get involved and start playing shows with Pelvic?
I don't know, man. I think it was like 96. It was a show at Boston's. And it was
You
like-
guys just played with him and became friends, or?
Well, we got asked to fill in for a band that canceled. And there was a band called Corrosive
Oh, I remember
at the
Corrosive.
time. And
Jesus Christ, you should get footage of that.
and Jesse.
Without getting footage of it.
Okay, we do need to take a break, so we'll be right back.
Bogcast episode 1, part 2.
There you go. Beautiful.
Part motherfucking 2.
All right,
There you go.
sweet.
So,
Are we? Wait, hang on. Are we? Yeah, I guess we're going.
yeah. So,
Cheers.
Oh, shit. Let's do it.
yes.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Cheers. Is that a Three Stooges shot glass?
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome, dude. Because I turn into one of the Stooges every time I drink too many of
Sweet.
these
We
shots.
could use this one next.
Let's hear about your club.
My club. Well, I'm a member. I'm the president and founder of a motorcycle club called the Metalheads MC. We're located in Tempe, Arizona. I started the club 7 years ago almost, and I always liked riding motorcycles, and I always thought being in a motorcycle club was cool and shit like that. And I got a motorcycle, got my first Harley, and I decided to start riding around. And the only guys that I knew that I could ride with are guys in other bands in town that I know, because I'm in the metal scene.
Yeah.
So called all the guys in different metal bands that I knew and said, hey, man, let's go out and ride. And we would go out and ride together. I'm like, we should be a club. We should start our own motorcycle club of metalheads.
Yeah.
You know? And so that's what we did 7.5 years ago or so, or 7 years ago, something like that. Anyway, it's been really cool, man. It's been really cool because there's a lot more that goes into starting a motorcycle club than most people think. You know, there's a lot of politics involved
Yeah,
with
oh,
that.
yeah.
And motorcycle clubs that have been around for many, many years, decades, some of them, wearing a patch on your back while you ride a motorcycle is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's earned. It's not something you just throw on your back and stuff. If multiple people are wearing the same patch, it's an earned thing. And so they take it really, really serious. So there's a lot of protocol to understand and follow with that sort of thing. And we were kind of lucky. And in the beginning, you know, Dan and I, from the band, we were doing it. We did a lot of research online and looked up motorcycle club protocol and stuff like that, so we wouldn't step on anybody's toes. We didn't want to just
Exactly.
be
Yeah.
Sons of Anarchy wannabes and throw shit on our back and be like, yeah, we're gangsters. You know, we weren't
Yeah.
trying to do it for that anyway.
Yeah.
And we did it. We ended up joining the Arizona Confederation of Motorcycle Clubs, and we introduced ourselves. There's about 70 clubs in Arizona, which is crazy. I had
So
no
all
idea.
those 70 clubs are part of this like kind of one organization.
Yes.
As you're saying. So.
They're all part of a confederation of motorcycle clubs.
Oh, okay.
And it's so weird because motorcycle clubs are like a mystery to the average person who's not in them because they're very tight-lipped about their inner workings and stuff like that. So the only thing you see is stuff on like Discovery Channel or whatever, Nat Geo or whatever they're showing about like all the bad things that happen. And to be perfectly honest, there's assholes in every group of friends.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know,
In every
Every group of
situation.
friends.
Yeah.
Before I was in a motorcycle club, I had a big group of friends, and some of my friends are assholes. Some of my friends would get in fights all the time and just be dicks and stuff like that, but that wasn't the rest of us.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way it is with motorcycle clubs. They're just very tight-lipped about their inner workings, and the only thing you ever hear about on the news or anything like that is when somebody gets into some shit.
Somebody acts like a douchebag.
So they put it out there that that's the whole club thing, and it's really not. Yeah. It's really not. Our club's not gangster at all. It's just a bunch of group of guys that are in metal bands or in the metal scene. Spanky, that used to be the host of Into the Pit on KUPD, he's one of our main members. And you know, just guys from bands, guys that are roadies. Chief from our club, he's been working for Slipknot as their set carpenter for 11 years now. You know, it's just anybody who's involved in the metal scene in some way that rides motorcycles. We have them together and we ride and we have a great time. We got a clubhouse out in Tempe, and we have people over on occasion and have good times, man.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
That actually sounds badass, man.
Kind of the brotherhood type thing also, right? That appeals to it. Camaraderie and shit like that.
I've always been, since long before the club, I've always been a guy, it's part of this music scene out here, that has, I really want to make the scene better. You know, I like to have a big group of guys that are like all having the same, you know, this similar kind of vision and goals. They want to make things funner for everybody. Yeah. And that's why I started the club. And, you know, that's why I kind of, with the band and stuff like that, I've always tried to be friends with all kinds of other bands that are somewhat in the same genre and just make the scene better.
Yeah,
so
for
just,
sure.
To me, it makes
you've always
the scene
been very
better.
generous and very helpful and very supportive of all local bands and the scene. And
yeah, I'm an amazing guy.
So, what do you think about the music scene now, local?
Locally, I think it's cool, man. It goes in waves, man. I've been around long enough to know that it goes in waves because we're about 30 years old as a band almost. So, seen a lot of ups and downs in the local music scene, and there's a lot of camaraderie. Right now, there's a lot of camaraderie again. And the last time I saw camaraderie like this was actually in the late 90s.
That was
one of my
time.
questions I was going to ask you was the difference between the local scene now between like the 90s and then when we were younger. Like when we were younger compared to like you doing it now and the younger generation and stuff like that.
Well, back then, we first joined the scene. We were youngsters and we didn't know how to play for shit, and we just kind of jumped into the local, you know, venue, local bars and all that stuff, playing scene. So we were like at the bottom of this pile of a bunch of old 80s rockers. Yeah. You know, this is like 1990, 91 kind of thing. So old 80s rockers, the guys that are like, yeah, all right.
It's all good.
With their spandex and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And we joined this scene, and these guys were all serious, man. They were all serious. They wanted to rock and all the shit, you know. And we're like, we're here to party. We're here to make a good time. And younger bands than us, our friends' bands and stuff that were coming up, they were friends with us, and they liked to party. So we're like, we're going to turn this scene into something that's a party. Yeah. Fuck trying to be super famous and just get chicks and all that stuff. I mean, that'll come with it, hopefully.
Yeah, you take some pride in it a little bit.
But let's just have a great time. Let's have a great time. And so we made friends with a lot of bands, and it was kind of weird at the time because a lot of bands are competing against each other. Yeah. On a local level, and it's like, it's so lame because the odds are like 1 in a million maybe is going to get a record deal that makes you some money, right? Yeah. The odds are so against you. So do it because you like it. You know, do it because you like it and have fun with it. Totally. Yeah. And you'll have a better time. So some of these guys are real serious and they're kind of stuck up and like, oh, we're cool. We brought this many people to my show. We're cool. And they start talking in British accents and shit like they're awesome. You're like, what the fuck? But we always were the guys that we were a party band first and foremost. So we're like, let's be friends with all these guys and let's have great times. Let's have shows and let's have your friends and our friends and everybody get together and let's party. And it kind of made this scene really cool. And through the mid to late 90s, man, we had the best scene in the world.
That was my teen years, dude. And I looked like all the bands those shows I came to was fucking rock stars, like you, fucking the guys in Brick, like an Oompa and shit, fucking.
So it's funny that we're talking about this. I forget who I was talking to, but we were talking about this exact same thing. Like
how awesome that era was.
Yeah, I remember the first time, like junior high or maybe it was
high school.
Yeah, when we heard about the first local band I remember hearing. This is gonna sound funny, but it's the first local band I remember hearing about is what was Nisbet's and Cody's
Brick
Contradiction.
Oh, Contradiction. Oh yeah.
Right?
Hell yeah.
And then of course it's funny that you say that because I didn't feel that way about Brick because I grew up. So
I didn't grow up with those guys like you did.
Yeah.
So I was like these guys, and when I got the Contradiction CD, like to me it fucking was the best sounding local shit I've ever heard in my life. I was like, these guys are fucking on another level, and I was like, I got to figure out what these guys are doing. I got to fucking I got to meet these guys.
And it was funny because that was also at the exact same time that genre of music really took hold in my life. I remember. First hearing Sepultura for the first time, or you know what I mean, and just being blown away, and to have bands that sound like that from your local neighborhood or whatever was a really big deal back then.
Yeah,
and it was like so cool that you guys like practiced next to fucking Soulfly and shit, and like I was like at a fucking practice for Soulfly when I think they're called Sepulculo or said Sepulculo on the back.
It did say Max. I remember Max had written Sepulculo on the thing because he was at odds with those guys at the time.
I don't, what is it? Well, I don't know what that means, but anyway.
Sepul ass.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fucking. I was like 16, 17 years old, the biggest Sepultura fan in the fucking world, and like I was hanging out at like your fucking band practice, already fucking. Like, this is fucking badass, and then Oomba's like, hey, come up, check this out, and then we'd fucking go sit on like a song of Max jamming and shit. I'm like, what the I was like fucking inside inside I was like,
you're seeing rock stars.
This is so fucking cool, but outside I was like, this is just
you had to play it off.
Oh yeah, totally.
Back then there was no camera phones.
No,
it was actually, it bums me out nowadays that I don't have pictures from back then, but if you pulled out a camera back then, it was lame. Like that separated you from you from the cool guys to the groupies and stuff. And we're in a band, so like we couldn't be a groupie. Yeah. We can't pull out a camera, man. We're gonna hang out with these guys tomorrow, kind of thing. Yeah. No cameras.
That's a very
I have
good
no pictures
point.
of back then. Back then it was lame. If you pulled out a camera, that separated your class.
Yes.
You were down here.
Well, not only that, but you only had like 12 pictures. Yeah. So they had to be like, I really want this fucking picture. It's not like I'm going to take 1,000 pictures and then keep 3 of them. You know
well, if there was cell phones back then, not only would there be so many awesome pictures, because you can just kind of do it and be discreet about it if you want.
Oh, yeah.
But a lot of us would be in prison for life.
I was just about to say, a lot of our heroes would not be heroes.
Right, we'd be in prison for life because the shit that used to go on back in the old days. If there was just video evidence constantly back then, like we were very loose about it.
Yes.
Oh God.
You know, so I'd be in prison as a sex offender, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I used to have sex with the Planet. There was time. It was funny when I met Larry Mack from KUPD. He was just like, "Oh, dude, you're the guy." He's like, "You've had sex with every chick in Arizona, every chick in Arizona," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's right." But I had a girlfriend at the time, you know. So I'm like, "No, don't
get me in trouble."
Yeah. You know, everything's out there.
Dude, there was a crazy rumor like when like. I don't know. I don't know if you disappeared or what the fuck, but there was a rumor like you had AIDS and shit. Did you know about that?
Dude, yes.
Because
yeah, of course.
I would go to a show. Someone would be like,
"This is a surprise. This is a surprise question."
Have you seen?
I wasn't prepared for this one.
No. They're like, "No, he has AIDS." I'm like, "What the fuck?" But I'm like, for like 3 years, I thought you had AIDS, bro.
Bro. Here's the thing, man. I used to get drunk and fuck the Planet, right? Like, if I hadn't...
Yeah, you're in a band, man.
If you were a female in this scene and I hadn't fucked you, that was weird. For reals. Not
no bragging.
No, it was just... I had no standards. I was just like, hey man, I'm not particularly attracted to this, but I still fuck it, right? So I'm gonna fuck whatever.
I remember all of this, bro.
So anyway,
I have so many stories myself.
I used to fuck everything that fucking moved. I mean, I was single at the time, and I'm like, I'm gonna bone the planet. All these people think I'm cool in a band. I'm gonna use that to my benefit.
Presidential campaign.
I'm gonna use that to my dick's benefit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use it to my dick's benefit. You think I'm cool? Check this
Yeah.
out. But anyway, so the band, the guys in Pelvic, they used to have this running joke, and it was, if Rich doesn't have AIDS is a myth.
I see. Okay.
It's a lie. It's a conspiracy. There's no such thing as AIDS, because if Rich doesn't have it, it can't really exist. And I believed it too. I'm like, oh, you know what?
You believed you had AIDS?
I was pretty scared, man. And I went to prison at one point because I went through this drug phase and I did dumb things, and I went to prison for a little while. And on your way into prison, they test you for everything because they have to know where to put you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they can't just put infectious people with
Like there's the AIDS
non-infectious
blog,
people.
and then there's
And so they tested me for everything. And I remember I was doing 3.5 years, and I was going in and getting tested on the first run in. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm so fucked. Because the results are going to come back, and I'm getting 3.5 years in prison. But now it's going to be a life sentence. I'm going to die because now I'm getting tested, and they're going to say I've got AIDS, and I'm going to die.
Damn.
And so I was so scared. And then when the test came back, 2 weeks later, they called me in, and they're like, you're good. And I'm like,
So for 2
no,
weeks.
I'm not. No, I'm not. Test me again.
Wow.
Test me again. Because right before I went in, man, I found out that I had butt fucked this chick. And she died of AIDS. She died of AIDS like 6 months after I butt fucked her. Is this okay to talk about?
Yeah, it's even better.
Talk
man.
about whatever
Keep
you
it
want.
going.
All right.
Oh,
Cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, I butt fucked this chick. She was dead from AIDS 6 months later, full blown AIDS. That was the cause
I'm not
of
laughing
death,
at
man.
that.
And I'm like, man, I raw dogged that chick. Oh fuck, I'm a dead man. I'm a dead man. So when they told me I was clean, I'm like, test me again. And they're like, no, we don't need to. It's an expensive test and all that shit. I'm like, test me again. No. And I told them why, and they're like, oh, okay, we'll test you again. Tested me again, and they're like, you're clean. I'm like, am I like Magic Johnson? Do I have a Magic Johnson? Because I stuck my shit into some dirty ass water and came out clean. You know what I mean? Magic Johnson is the same way. He had full blown
Well, it's
AIDS,
funny.
and now he doesn't. So
Yeah, right.
maybe I am like Magic Johnson. Maybe I have that Magic Johnson syndrome.
Maybe you fucked so many chicks that you built an immunity to it. You know what I
Like
mean?
a snake venom thing.
Yeah, like
the-
'cause, you know what I
Maybe.
mean? Like there's
Maybe
something to it.
maybe I used to be a stud, man. I used to actually bone quite a few bitches. Now, not so much. I'm a fat old man. I'm lucky I get laid by my wife every now and then. She like looks at me and she's like, "Yeah, no."
But you do get private messages from guys who are in Astro Bear.
Astro
Bear
Bear.
Force
Bear
One.
Force
Bear Force
One,
One,
yeah. Bear Force One.
Astro Bear. That's a sick name.
If anybody's unfamiliar with
Astro
Bear
Bear
Force
Astro
One,
Bear, asshole.
please Google Bear Force One. It's a gay bear boy band from Belfast, Ireland. The singer of Bear Force One, Robert Brown, actually hit me up on Facebook the other day, sent me a message. We're not even Facebook friends. And he's just like, hey, man, how's it going? I'm like, good. How are you? And then I looked at his profile and I see it's the singer of Bear Force One. I'm not going to get into why I know that.
I was gonna say, like, you already knew who that was when it happened. Like, what?
Hey, man, I got a lot of gay friends, all right?
Yeah.
And, bears, if I was gay, I'd be a bear.
Yeah,
Look at me.
I feel your pain.
Kind of a bear. Yeah. You're a bear too, my
Yeah.
friend. Right?
Yeah.
So anyway.
At least something out there thinks we're sexy. All right.
But yeah, I was like, how the hell did this guy find me? I figured Dan from my band probably did it. We've had an ongoing war for a long time on Facebook. I'm better at Photoshop than him, so I can Photoshop his head onto gay porn bodies and make it real. You know what I mean? He tries to, but you can tell it's fake.
Yeah, he's a noob.
I'm good. And so I think maybe this might be his way of getting me.
Yeah.
But the bad thing is Dan is now renting one of his houses out as a Airbnb, and it's a big ass Scottsdale ghetto mansion, man. It's South Scottsdale 6-bedroom house, big place with a pool and shit. And I told this guy, I said, hey man, Bear Force One tours out here.
You can stay there.
I've got the spot. and I'm gonna put him up in there, and he's maybe gonna get paid or maybe not, but he's gonna have Bear Force One staying at his house. So
And then you're gonna fucking hang out with the singer.
I might.
Anyway.
It just depends on it. Hey man, do you got any more of that Jameson?
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Let's do another shot.
Oh wow.
All this talk about. Well, actually, before we wrap.
Can I
here,
drink from the bottle?
Oh yeah, but pour me a shot though. What are your top 3 local bands of all time, and what are your top 3 local bands right now?
Oh, geez. I just poured.
You're good.
Pick your phone up.
You're good. It's actually
Sorry, bro.
waterproof. So
Sorry.
hopefully-
Sorry, dude.
I don't have a Jameson proof.
My top 3 local bands of all time and right now. Oh man, that's a fucked up question to ask me, dude. You know why?
I know it's subjective and this and that.
Well, no, because I'm in the scene still with my band, and so if I tell you my top 3 bands right
That's
now,
not
then there's
Pelvic.
a bunch of other bands that are gonna go, "Oh, what an asshole!"
I know I hate that question, and I've actually when I get that question, I say fuck you. So that's why I kind of wanted to ask you.
Well, you know what? I'll be honest with you.
Thank you, sir.
Let's go with all time first.
You don't have to say right now. But
My
all
favorite
time-
bands of all time. My favorite local metal bands of all time.
Well, it doesn't have to be metal, just local.
Local bands.
For sure.
Local bands of all time. I'm going to say my very top, the band that I've ever gotten the most into and like almost groupied after and been like, yes, is a band called Lurid State. They're a metal band. They've been broken up for probably 5 or 6 years now. They were around for about 2 years before that. But they were so metal. They were so good. They were so heavy. I'd never heard anything like it. They were the first metal band that I ever heard that tuned down to J minor or whatever all you guys.
Yeah, fucking
whatever
low
all
as
you
fuck.
guys with 8-string guitars.
I still do drop C. That's it. That's as low as I go.
Oh, that's what you did when we were in the band
Room
together.
26, yeah.
But
So,
anyway, all
keeping it
these
real,
guys,
dog.
they have these like 8-string guitars and shit, and they tune down so friggin' low. This band, they had, they were using 7 strings. But they tuned down to the same tuning as Brick back then, which was Drop A.
Drop A, yeah.
Drop A. But they were not grungy at all. They weren't like that muddy metal. These guys were tight. They played like we play, but they just had that low A string for the extra beef
Heavy
on the
shit, yeah.
super heavy. And I had never heard anybody do that. So they were my favorite.
Lurid
State was
Lurid State.
They're my number one favorite. I would have to say there's a band called Box of Cherries that was around in the early 90s, and they were much like The Cure.
I was about to
From
say
here?
that's a cool name.
Yeah, Box of Cherries, and they were much like The Cure and Oingo Boingo. They're probably my second.
Okay.
And I know that's weird because I'm a metal guy, but
Not at
No,
all.
dude.
Not
That's
at all.
rad.
We're all kind of the same boat.
I know
and
you
the
listen
Cure.
to all kinds of different like I know you listen to Lady Gaga and
Yeah.
but that's why like I think it's cool when people listen to all kinds of different shit. you know?
my other all-time favorite band would be Plinko. And Plinko was a big punk band back in the 90s.
I've heard of them.
They're from here?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Plinko was an unsigned punk band in the 90s. And those guys, it was like happy punk. You know, like those guys were like
Didn't they play with metal bands though at the
a
time?
lot.
Yeah.
Well, us.
Yeah.
They played
Yes.
with us. Yeah, because I would
Yeah,
always
I
book them
remember
together
that.
because we were
Yeah.
friends. And I would get them. We always tried to cross over the punk and the metal scene back then because I was always trying to make the scene better. I was always
Yeah.
trying to just make like music fans come out, kind of thing. So we played shows with them a lot, and Plinko was one of the best ever. Like they were so good, just happy punk.
Yeah.
It's like the kind of music that I'd listen to and I would get happy.
Yeah.
It's like, and they for a little while they considered themselves emo punk because they sang a lot of love songs and things like that and stuff about like what kids go through when they're fucking home alone and feeling shitty or whatever. But to me, their music always brought me up. So I was just like, they're not emo punk, they're happy punk.
Yeah.
They made me happy, and I guess happy is an emotion, so
Totally.
it was cool. But those are my 3 all-time favorite bands in Arizona. As far as my 3 current locals, I would say Scattered Guts.
Scattered Guts.
Scattered Guts is they're a local thrash band.
Yeah.
They're not death metal like the name would ensue. Those guys, they're thrash. They're just like, and they're very almost old school thrash. And I've never been a thrash fan. That's never been my kind of music. Like I don't sit there and just rock out to Scattered Guts all day.
Yeah.
But whenever they're playing a show, I want to go because their shows are so fun. The people that are at their shows are the funnest people, and the band members themselves are like the funnest people. They're fun, awesome people. It's like a party. It's like they're a party band. There's them. I would say Mercaset would be my next one. And Mercaset is, I don't want to be a dick and say they're a clone of Lamb of God, but they're very obviously influenced by Lamb of God. They're very obviously influenced by that. But they're the coolest dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they put on a little bit better show than Lamb of God. I mean, actually, Lamb of God they put on their show because they're rock stars and they do their thing. But these guys have a little bit more energy to it.
Nice.
And it's awesome. And I'm really stoked on it. Let me see. The next one I would say, and it's so weird because it's a style of music I'm not into, which is like death metal, like shit. But it's a local band called The Exiled Martyr. And these guys, it was crazy. They played my clubhouse a few years ago. Didn't know anything about them. I don't know who booked them, but they came into my clubhouse and they were playing. And they came walking in and I'm like, this is a strange misfit looking group of guys, right? All different races and different styles of their look. You know what I mean? I'm like, none of these guys, they weren't a cohesive unit, by first sight. I'm like, this is weird. You know, you got a black guy and blah, 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 and a fat white guy over here and then blah, blah, blah. Their music was they're crazy technical. Not the kind of stuff that I would want to just listen to at home.
Yeah.
Crazy technical, super fucking.
Yeah.
I don't listen to that. I listen to, more melodic stuff at home.
Yeah.
But these guys put on such a great show. Their show was insanely energetic. And I was just like, what the fuck? These guys have that love for this thing that they're doing like I had 25 years ago.
Yeah.
So looking at them, I was just like, wow.
What was the name of them
like
again?
them. They're called The Exiled Martyr.
The Exiled Martyr. Hell yeah.
So
super good, and they're super technical.
I've heard the first two because I've seen them on your flyers.
As players, technically, they're probably better than everybody.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna check them out.
Like they're super smoking musicians.
Earlier in the show or before it, we were talking about the 30th anniversary show.
Oh yeah.
Is that something that you guys are still talking about? What's going on with that?
Yeah, at this point we'll do it. I know for a lot of guys planning things for the next year is kind of off the table for a lot of bands, but for us it's really not. You know, we've been around so long. We're not doing this we don't have an agenda. You know, we don't do this shit for the money, obviously. You know, we don't do it for the fame, obviously. But
that's what the best part is.
We do it because we like doing it. You know, we enjoy doing it. There was a time when we were younger when we were really going for it and trying to catch a deal and become the next big thing, but it didn't work out. And at the time, and we came to terms with that and decided, like, well, we're not just going to quit like a lot of bands do. We still enjoy each other's company. We still enjoy writing music together, and we still enjoy playing in front of crowds. And luckily for us, we still draw a headline crowd in a local sense. So it's okay for us to keep going. And planning on our 30th anniversary is not that far-fetched. You know, it's a year and a half from now. Well, our actual 30th anniversary will be November 8th of or whatever the fuck this
is. That the date of that one show?
2020.
Yeah, 2020.
Is that the date of that original show that you guys did?
That's the date of the original show. It was November 8th of 1990. So November 8th of 2020 will be our technical 30th anniversary of our first show. And for us, it's not that far-fetched because, you know, while we've got things going on, everybody's got their own thing going on. Byron owns thebestclothingcompany.com and villainrecording.com, and he's very busy. Dan owns 17 fucking businesses and has his rental properties and is always threatening to move to Serbia and all the shit. And Kelly, he works for Cox, and, you know, he's got his family living in a house out in Surprise. And then there's me. I'm just a fucking dickhead. For any normal band, you know, planning a show that's a celebration for a year from now or so might be a big stretch. But for us, it's not, because we're like, we've had the talk.
Yeah.
We're like, you know, we're comfortable with what we do and why we do it. we're gonna do a 30th anniversary in about a year and a half.
Fuck
and
yeah, man.
It's gonna be fun. The coolest thing about it is when we got back together after I got out of prison in 2007, we had a talk. And before I left, part of the reason that I went off the deep end and started doing drugs and all that stuff was because I was so dead set on becoming a huge thing in the music scene, right? And that was falling apart. That was falling apart, so I got a case of the fuck it's, and I started doing a lot of drugs because I said fuck it, you know, like fuck it. What, I don't care what happens to me.
Yeah.
And so there was a little falling out there. When we got back together, when I got out of prison, and I had to prove that I was okay to everybody and that I was
Before they got the band back together?
Yeah, I had to kind of prove myself to all those guys and like, hey, I'm not a fucking complete fuckwad anymore.
But you had to understand their point.
Come
right?
jam with me
Yeah,
again. Yeah, those guys had been in a different band without me for the 3.5 years that I was gone. And I had to get them to quit that band and
I forgot what happened.
Redo me.
Was it a different band?
they were a band called Terror in the Isles.
Oh, okay.
Terror in the Isles, and they were doing all right. They were doing pretty good. But, you know, they had 3.5 years of doing that band without me. And I had to somehow convince them to drop that and be my guys.
And they did, and it's all history.
Yeah, and it worked out good. But when we first got back together, man, we had a meeting, and we talked about it. And we said, you know what, dude? No agenda anymore. Let's just right now agree to no record deals, no management deals, no distribution deals, no nothing. If we're going to play together, let's just play because we like doing the music. We like making the music. We're creative artists. Let's just do this for that reason only. And if people still like to come see us, then cool.
Fuck yeah.
And when that goes away, then that's when it's time to go away.
Yeah.
I think
that's what we did.
I think that's the way to do it, and do something you love. And
Hell yeah. Well, is there anything you want to plug real quick? I'm being told we only have a couple minutes or a minute before we got camera footage runs out or whatever. So tell us about where anyone can find you for any shows, pelvic related.
You know what?
Pack 66, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, well,
You can
Pack
plug-
666,
plug
my
away.
rap band.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about that tonight, but
I know.
got
I
a
wish
rap
we
band
did.
called
We'll do it on the next
You
episode.
can Google it, called Pack 666 from Compton, AZ. It's some dumb shit. But Pelvic Meatloaf, you can find us anywhere. Google it. Find us anywhere. As far as other shit, my motorcycle club, I'm the president of the motorcycle club called the Metalheads Motorcycle Club. We're based in Tempe, Arizona, and check it out. If you ride a motorcycle and if you're into the music scene at all, it doesn't have to be metal. It could be punk, whatever. And if you like to ride motorcycles with musicians, come out and ride with us, and let's check it out, and let's hang out, man.
Fuck yeah,
well,
man.
we'd love to have you back.
Dude, so like I
Cool.
just want to first of all say thank you so much for being my first guest. It means a lot. Like I said, I couldn't have it any other way with it being called the Bogcast and you nicknaming me Bog. But also like you could seriously come on anytime you want if you have anything you want to promote or if you just were bored. But like I definitely like want to have you at least on like the 100th episode or like make a thing where like you come on as many times as you want before that, but like I want you on like the first one, the 100th one, the 200th one. Does that make
Sorry,
sense?
bro. Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. Yeah. Sorry. Talk to my agent.
Yeah,
Fuck
this sucks.
you.
We gotta quit.
Yeah.
I'm done.
It was gonna happen,
All
but
right, that's
but you know
wrap.
what? No. Before that rap, though, I was gonna say, you sent Oompa to pick me up today, not in a limo. No limo.
This is the Bogcast.
There was-
YouTube.com/thebogcast. What's your podcast?
I got picked up in a regular car, not a limo, dude. This is
Tales
bullshit.
from the flip side,
Uber
guys.
gave you a rub and tug, right?
Total
Absolute
shit.
geek.
Total shit.
Didn't
He
Uber
gave me roadhead. We pulled over for a minute, but
That's payment. All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Bang!